The first thing that pros do that you don't is, after a big play or clutch at the end of the round, you'll see pros look down and back up. They do this because back in 1.6 and Source, you would be able to style on your opponents with custom spray paints, but nowadays, even with the sprays in CS2, you'll see pros do it without spraying the graffiti, as a sign that you made a great player clutch. Definitely gives you plus aura. A part of Team Spirit's practice involves them deathmatching while communicating and giving out information. The purpose of this is to work on aiming while at the same time you're talking. How many times do you forget to talk or find it hard to communicate when you are so locked in on aiming at the enemy? Despite this clip being old, Team Spirit and many other teams still do this type of practice. It's very useful and you should incorporate it into your own routine.
Иди ко мне, убил Титаник. Мы давали друг другу информацию и разминали наши голосовые связки.
Now, you don't need a teammate to do this. You could actually practice this by yourself in a deathmatch and communicate as you aim train.
One balcony with up. I'm in kitchen. I'm picking backside. Backside. One dead B. Backside dead. I'm picking bench. Bench. One bench. Bench dead. I'm picking balcony.
When pros throw a flash, they'll say boom or pop when the flash explodes like Rain does here. Yanko will explain why.
And you know, if people are at home and they're wondering why is some guy yelling boom? Like the reason for that is when you say you're throwing a flash, you say boom to when your flash is popped because something else might pop, right? So it doesn't give a false sign for your teammate to swing.
Here's a question. Do you like boom or do you like pop more?
Boom.
Ooh, I'm a pop guy. I call pop.
Wow, there you go.
Today's video is sponsored by SkinPlace. SkinPlace is a platform where you can sell your CS2 skins instantly and quickly withdraw your money. All you need to do is log in Steam, select the skins you want to sell, pick your cash out method from all these different options, then click receive money, and in a couple of seconds you get your payment in your account. Don't forget to use code NART to get an extra 3% when selling your skins. Use the link in the description to sell your skins now. Besides giving a vocal cue when you throw a flash, you'll often see pros shooting when the flash is thrown, and this is done to bait out the enemy to peek, which then they'll look right into the flash. Another trick when flashing is shoulder peek, so the enemy thinks you're doing an early peek, so they're forced to stay watching and you can peek again once the flash pops. Now when pros get flashed, even though they can't see anything, they'll shoot and spray whatever angle they were holding, praying that the enemy comes into their crosshair. Now, it's not always done with every flash, but their game sense will let them know when to do so. The next time you're blind, hold mouse 1 and you might get lucky. Fame in a 1v3 has 15 bullets in his chamber, gets the first frag, his magazine goes down to 7 bullets, he instantly switches his gun without any hesitation with the one on the ground which has 19 bullets. He also looked down when he was getting shot at as he moved behind single to not be seen. He goes on to win this clutch as the duels he takes are headshot angles because he's low HP, so he forces the enemies to have to hit his head. Well played Fame, as VP go on to win the map and series. If you have an op and want to bait the enemy into peeking you, shoot your op and pull out your secondary because the enemy might peek you right after hearing you shoot because of the downtime you have with the op. You could also switch weapons like this vintage twist clip.
Left alone getting the great shot.
Similar situation in this clip, the T is in a 1v2 where the op is shot on the first CT. Instead of waiting for the next op shot, the T switches with the AK on the ground, which decreases the downtime leading to the next frag. Another way to bait out your opponents is to throw a decoy like Monasi does here, but he doesn't throw it right into the ground, he throws it up in the air so the decoy can land a little bit later, making it look like a real shot. Here's a vintage CSGO clip of the decoy bait working.
Flashbang, JW and Olof, they don't want to move while they can't see. There's that pick in mid, so flusher.
Mask the sound of you dropping or jumping by shooting, which Madden does here as he falls down from window. Daze fakes the jump down from stairs by simply jumping. The Tetris player thinks he is now pushing, which forces the peek.
Okay.
A lot of pros play with their keyboard sideways because most of these pro players started playing small LAN tournaments when they had to play on small surfaces, so they had to tilt their keyboard, and people say it's more comfortable, feels more natural, allows them to lean in and be a lot closer to the monitor. It's all personal preference at the end of the day. On T-pistols, sometimes the first player entering in will run in backwards, jumping in backwards, jump around the corners, bunny hopping. The reason for this is that it makes it really hard for the CT to land the headshot. Admin, he's doing it backwards. One thing Monasi does a lot on the CT sides is when he's going for an entry pick, he's going to look down as he gets to a certain position because that is going to prevent him from getting flashed from the T's. Towards the end of the previous clip, you also saw Monasi jump to get some info safely. That's something Monasi likes to do in his gameplay. In this clip, he's in a 1v2 and you can see that he's jumping around a lot, has a perfect air strafe, super clean movement to try to find at least one player, which would give him a lot of information. On the CT side, sometimes you'll see pros crouching and looking down in front of the smoke to prevent from getting flashed. Another common position that pros do this play is ramp on Mirage. Donk is low HP, he goes and switches guns with the Opper, which is known as Bogdan's Law. So next time you're low HP with a rifle, run up to your Opper and demand that you trade guns by saying Bogdan. But honestly, the concept makes sense because since you are one shot, you want the op instead of going into a duel with a rifle. Last round and a half, if you have a lot of money, you can go ahead and buy an op. Even if you're not an opper, which you see Crimbo do here, he's going to use the op and hold the mid push, which is going to punish the CT here, getting the frag, and then he's going to go back and he's going to pick up the AK. One thing that pros are doing that always wins them CT pistol rounds is by having one player sacrifice by dropping off 2 Paro dualies to 2 armored players. If you're playing inside a stack, make the worst player do so. Sometimes you'll see m0NZY take off the silencer of the USP in pistol rounds. Not sure why he does this because it makes the USP statistically worse in every way. The only benefit is that your gun doesn't stick out, or maybe he uses it to scare his opponents into making his presence known, but that's probably not the reason, and it's probably just for style points. One thing that pros abuse in CS2 is the ability to be able to safely stand in between the Molotov and the edge of the smoke. Instead of falling back because of the Molotov, Elish knows that this mechanic exists, so he's able to stand in between the smoke and Molotov without taking any damage. Same thing here, Flit is going to edge this smoke. He knows that the mid banana smoke is going to be followed with a Molotov, which he takes advantage of. Denying the weapons to the opposing team is a popular thing pros do. For example, your teammate goes down like Hunter does here, m0NZY is going to drop his op to get Hunter's gun, so FaZe are not able to retrieve it. Robs is going to be looking for it but can't find it, so this was such a high level play by m0NZY. If FaZe were able to get that AK, who knows, this round could have been a different story, especially with Robs having armor. When pros are in an unwinnable situation with an op, you'll see them throw it away so the enemy can't retrieve it, as Device does so here in a 1v4. Vitality currently with no op will be forced to buy one the next round, which does some damage to the economy instead of getting a free one off Device. Besides throwing guns off the map, you can jump safe on Vertigo. Watch this.
Jump off the map, that's the only way you win.
No way! Yes! No way!
JL and HLTV confirmed talks about the importance and understanding of when to use nades.
Like every single nade and util you throw, there's a reason for it. And I never knew that. I mean, okay, you can flash here, you can mod it there, but every single piece of util gives information to the enemy team. And if the enemy team is good at reading the util, they might have an understanding of what you're doing on the map. So sometimes you should think about the util you throw and when you throw it, maybe to mix up the opponent or make them misread the situation. And I had no idea. So it was quite tough to relearn the utility usage, because I thought I was not bad at it, but I realized I was terrible. It was giving up a lot of information to the enemy team, and a team like now was easily picking up the tells from by the util. For me, that was like, wow.
On the topic of nades, one thing pros do that you don't is when they throw a nade at the beginning of the round, they'll buy an extra nade before they leave spawn. Also, you'll see in the last round, pros will buy extra flashes on the ground so they could use them as they rotate and retake. It doesn't always have to be the last round if your team's economy is doing really well. This is what a pro bootcamp schedule looks like, shared by Kassad from his team Bleed Esports. This is a very popular format of the practice schedule, as I saw a lot of pro players commenting under Kassad's tweet that this spreadsheet looked very familiar. Where it says theory map, that means your team talks about tactics, protocols, rotations, etc. And prac means you're scrimming against other teams. Chewing gum gives you a huge buff when playing. We know Twist does that, and here Alexi B talks about it.
You want to tell me about this chewing gum buff?
I saw Brocky on the cam eating chewing gum, and I told our manager to get it. Then we came to the venue, and 15 minutes before a game, I was like, did you remember it? He was like, do you still want it? Yeah, and then he ran to the store, came back with the chewing gum, and I just locked in.
Instant buff. If you use an anime profile picture for Steam, why do you think Donk and m0NZY, who are the best players in the world, use them? It is scientifically proven that your aim will increase 15%, Kappa. Why stop there when you can also get an extra buff by using anime mouse pads like Magus and Chopper do here? It's not a coincidence that Team Spirit are the best team in the world.
He's got the info.
Nico trying to get help from the crowd.
But Brolin knows exactly
I think it's fair play. I think it's fair play.
And Nico, no.
So what? Are you gonna cry about it? Your fault that you're not popular, huh? Your fault. Your fault. We're G2, baby. We got a whole bunch of fans in the crowd. Oh my God, this is
swing it out.
Does he have time?
Really get there in time. It's gonna be close.
Oh no! Please no karma. Nine.
How many of these things do you do? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to go to Pound Town and smash that like button and subscribe to join the Narty Party, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
What?